What's good? What's going on? Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome to another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast, coming to you via the YouTube airways. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. And today, man, you can see by the title of the thumbnail, Errol Spence finally claps back at Stephen A. Smith over the retirement talk. But when you come across this video, man, do me a favor. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you post your comment. Make sure you share it out. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. And make sure you got your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball Dropping drops another hot banger. And if this is your first time coming across the channel and you're new to the platform, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button. Post your comments. Share the video out. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up. I see everybody in the comment section. Hashtag salute. And you know what my mantra is. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. Well, we got to get right off into it, man. We're going to be talking about the Errol Spence situation, the retirement talks. But today, man, I got one of my boxing analysts with me, Dewan Hall, and he's no stranger to the show, man. And it's always a pleasure having him back on the show. Welcome back in, Dewan.
Okay, Seth, thanks for having me, brother. Ready to break it up and chop it up with Errol Spence and Ryan Garcia.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate the time, man. But, you know, we're going to dive right off into it, man. We got some things we want to unpack, man. But things have been surfacing over the last couple of weeks about Errol Spence. You know, Errol Spence fought, Terrence Bud Crawford back in July, and he suffered, a brutal loss, a brutal defeat, a brutal TKO. And some people have voiced their, opinions on, thinking Errol Spence should retire. And there's one particular guy that's in mainstream media, Stephen A. Smith. And this is what Stephen A. Smith had to say after Errol Spence took that beat down. Take a listen. And when we finish listening to it, we'll come back with our commentary.
It was a beatdown. It was a beatdown of very, very alarming proportions. Terrence Crawford was absolutely spectacular. Errol Spence got destroyed. I mean, it was one of those situations, your soul was taken from you. And I don't say that with any pleasure. I did not see this coming. I did not see that it would be like this. It was that bad. It really, really, really was. I just don't know what to say. Did you know that 3 months after that incident that nearly killed him, that Errol Spence Jr. was in another car accident? I didn't even bring up his leg injury from the car accident either. And then you get into the ring against Terrence Crawford and you're subjected to that kind of beating, that's why Stephen A. Smith is talking about potential retirement.
Wow. So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say there, man. Now, Dewan, I'm going to bring you in, man. And, me and you, we sat ringside as we watched that fight in July, man. So going into this fight, did you expect Terrence Bud Crawford to destroy Errol Spence in the manner that he did?
I did not, K-Sap. I mean, you and I know I called Bud to win that fight a year plus before the fight happened. As we got closer and closer, I started hedging my bets and started thinking, man, I don't know how you going to outwork Errol because Errol's work activity was so high. But being ambidextrous like that, I kind of had confidence in Terrence Crawford. I definitely didn't expect a one-sided fight like that. I still think, though, that Stephen A., he's doing it for publicity, man. Clickbait, trying to get people to click on this stuff. But I don't think Errol should retire, but he shouldn't go see Bud again.
You don't think he should, he triggered his rematch clause for that Crawford fight, but now that might be in limbo because, after that fight, Errol disappeared from social media. And now he has just resurfaced on social media in the new year, 2024. He posted a video of him coming out of the doctor's office, out of the hospital, and he had to get eye surgery again on the cataracts in that same eye that he had the labrum tear. I mean, not the labrum tear, but the eye tear, the retina tear before he was getting ready to fight Pacquiao. He had to back out of that Pacquiao fight. That's why he had to fight you guys, because you guys beat Pacquiao. So he recovered from that. Now the video surfaces that he had to get cataract surgery on that eye. But Errol did address that and say, that's why I took so many jabs. That's why I was eating all these left hooks. So, all kinds of stuff, speculations came out after the fight about a potential rib injury, something wrong, stemming from the car accident. So, not trying to make no excuse for Errol Spence, but I've never seen Errol look that bad in any of his fights, man. And I've never seen Bud Crawford dominate an opponent the way he dominated Errol Spence. And at that time, they was highly rated, both 1 and 2 pound per pound best fighters in the world. And he made Errol Spence look like an amateur, like Errol Spence did not know what he was doing out there. So with all the excuses, the rib injury and the eye surgery, what do you make out of that?
Well, my thing is everybody makes excuses for Errol, but Errol didn't make any excuses. And I think you get to see the real character of a man, when he's at his low points. Errol didn't come to the post-fight interview with glasses on. He didn't try to duck in the ambulance and pull off. He didn't make a bunch of excuses. Even months later, he said Crawford should have got Fighter of the Year. I think Errol showed a lot to me as a man that, I hope my son, aspires to and can grow into being that. And I don't think he should retire. I agree with you. I've never seen Errol look that bad. I think he should still fight. In that fight, I didn't see nothing to build off of. I didn't see nothing where I could be like, if he did a little more of this, or either he needs, it's a lot like you playing basketball, K-Step, you can't hit a jumper, you need to go get a layup first. Earl can go get a layup before he step in the ring with Bud again. I don't buy into all of the excuses because Earl's not giving up excuses, but he should not go see Bud straight away. He should not do it.
Well, when the fight was taking place, Earl always was adamant about not taking no tune-up, man. He jumped right into that fight. He didn't want to wait. And like you said, you broke it down, so eloquently. I agree exactly what you said. In a situation like this, you went off social media, you finally came back, and Earl, you need a tune-up, man. You need a tune-up to, to get back in there and knock off some of that rust. I know you coming off of a eye surgery, but Earl's not ducking. So Earl took to his Twitter, and clapped back to Stephen A. Smith about the retirement talks. And this is what Errol Spence had to say. All that said, you can kill the retirement-ish, though. Yeah, I got my ass beat. Shit was past due. I didn't live exactly like a boxer for the most part. Laugh out loud. Now, he posted this on January the 8th, about 4 days after he posted the video of him, coming out of the hospital from the eye surgery with the patch over him. So in this situation, man, kudos to Spence for owning up and letting people know that he's not retiring. And he did get his ass beat. But if this rematch doesn't happen with Spence and Crawford, Boots Ennis been out there, trying to get a fight with Terrence Crawford. So with these big fights on the horizon, if the Spence and Crawford fight doesn't take place, do you think that Boots Ennis would give Crawford a run for his money?
I think Boots would give anybody a run for their money. Yeah, I do. I think Boots would give anybody a run for their money. Although, right now, I'm not convinced anybody could beat Bud at 147 or 154. Bud's too disciplined. He's too mentally strong, ambidextrous. The thing that can beat Bud, man, is not taking somebody serious or just, staying out of the ring too long, lollygagging. But Bud's too mentally sharp for these guys, although Boots would give him a run for his money. And I don't think Bud should run in to take that fight with Boots. He need to let it percolate a little bit, at least a year or two, let Boots get a couple big names on his belt and go ahead and let that be his last payday.
I totally agree, man. And, Crawford's getting up there in age, man. And like Crawford said, man, if the Spence fight don't happen, there's only one other fight out there that he wants before he would think about going into retirement, and that's the Charlo. But in this situation, man, the Charlo twins, man, they got a lot of things going on. But Crawford, he's being patient. But I seen a recent report where Errol Spence went, back on his Twitter, and he said that, man, come on, man, let's go ahead and run it back. He's trying to get that fight back with Crawford. But, boxing on the whole, we got some big names out there. We got some big fights that we want to see. We thought that we was going to see the next fight with Rolly Ramirez and Devin Haney, because Devin Haney came off of off of Regis Prograde, man. He dominated him. And that's probably the best I've seen Haney look, me personally, in a long time. He was sharp. I mean, like Regis Prograde said, he got sneaky punching power. He don't have power. It's the sneakiness when you get caught.
He got crisp shots.
Yeah, the crisp shots. So kudos to Devin Haney. But it seems like a lot of guys are ducking Devin Haney. But now your man Floyd Money Mayweather is really trying to put the hype train behind this Rolly Ramirez and Ryan Garcia fight. Now, Rolly Rolly came off the his win against that guy Barosas, right? So Rolly, but the thing about it is, Rolly got knocked down in that fight against the 40-year-old Barbosa, right? And then, Weeks stopped the fight, a premature stoppage in the I think it was the 9th or 11th round. And at that time, Barbosa was up on all scorecards, man. I think he was up 76-75, 78-73, 77-74. He was up. And then it was a premature stoppage. But Rolly was telling everybody that, man, this guy, he hits hard, and nobody wanted to believe him. So what happened was that Barbosa's got that fight against O'Hare Davies, and he knocked O'Hare Davies out in the first round, TKO, and Rolly was in attendance talking about, I told you guys. So in that sense, man, what do you think about the potential matchup of Rolly Ramirez and Ryan Garcia?
It's an interesting fight, and it's an interesting fight only because I want to see the mental toughness of Ryan Garcia after that Tank Davis fight. As far as Rolly, man, bodybuilders can't fight. Everybody know people with big muscles can't fight. They throw wide punches, look like a robot stepping towards you. He really doesn't have any skill sets per se. I think if Ryan hadn't gotten stopped by Tank, I think it would make early work of Rolly. But he did get stopped by Tank. It is in the back of his mind that he can get beat, right? And somebody like Garcia going on knocking everybody out, all of a sudden find out you can get knocked out, start punching from the back seat. We saw it with Deontay Wilder. I was actually making the joke when I asked, is it time to leave Malik? But I'm like, it's time for Deontay to retire because he's gun shy in there. So it's an interesting fight, but I don't think it's interesting because Rolly is any good. I don't even think he's necessarily a strong puncher. He's just a bully. He's going to step towards and he's going to challenge Garcia mentally. But Ryan's got the thing that, I don't believe in incarnation, but if God could bring me back and give me a left hook like Ryan Garcia or Nonito Donaire, I would definitely be happy, ASAP.
And the crazy thing about it is I'm glad that you said that about punching from the back seat. And we saw what happened to your man Roy Jones early in his career, man, when Tarver knocked him out. What did Roy start doing after that? He started punching from the back seat. So you bring up valid points, man. Your talking points were strong on that. But, this is what I say about Rolly. And I agree with you, man. Rolly is almost like a bully, man. Rolly's only had 14, 15 fights, right? But what Rolly does, Rolly goes around yapping to try to sell these fights. Yeah. And it seems like Floyd Mayweather has got on the hype train with this Rolly and Ryan Garcia fight. But the last performance I saw of Ryan Garcia after he came off the TKO of, Tank Davis, the thing about it is Rolly looked strong. The left hook was there. The speed was there. And in this sense, if they do fight, one thing that I would favor Ryan Garcia is much more of the technician than Rolly. Rolly goes out there, like you said, tries to bully you and tries to knock you out. But the thing about it is, as much power as Rolly claims that he has, Rolly's chin, he got a glass chin, man. Because I've seen every time somebody has caught him on the chin, he's either doing the stinky leg or he's on the canvas. You know what I'm saying? And we saw what happened when he ran into that Tank Davis punch, and Tank Davis said he didn't even throw the punch hard. He just put it out there.
He
landed into it and ran right into it. So, and if this fight does happen, I would say Ryan Garcia knocks him out within 7 rounds. I'm going out on a limb and say Ryan Garcia will knock him out, because Ryan, that left hook is sneaky. And like Regis Prograis said about Devin Haney, it's that sneaky power, man. And I think Ryan Garcia got that sneaky power as well. But if he catches him with left hook, like you said, man, I think it's Kirk or Toka. I think it's lights out.
It's lights out, man. And Rolly winds up, he swings on way. I mean, He might as well send an email telling him I'm about to throw a punch. He was just too predictable, man. I don't see enough skill sets. I think Rolly is like somebody that could take a punch. Somebody you put in there that could take a punch, like a tough Mexican fighter. They got 13 wins and 18 losses, like Emmanuel Burton. A tough fighter, tough to beat, but Emmanuel Burton actually has skills.
Well, he has skills, man. I'm glad that you brought up Emmanuel Burton, because when he fought Floyd Mayweather, man, Floyd Mayweather hit that cat with the kitchen sink, but he just didn't want to go nowhere. He didn't want to go nowhere.
That's one of my favorite fights.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite fights of all time is Floyd Mayweather against Emmanuel Burton. The Drunken Master showed why he's so difficult to fight. It was a tough fight for Floyd, but Floyd showed a killer instinct at 130, 135, 140. I don't know, 140 was 135. I think that fight was at 135.
That was Pretty Boy. Before he changed that persona to Money Mayweather, man. But with these fights, looming, man, I just hope that Errol Spence can get back to what we once saw. And if this rematch does happen, I want it to happen at 154, but right now it's in limbo because I don't know what the recovery time is on a cataract surgery in your eye. It's the same eye. But like you said, Errol Spence took it on the chin. He didn't make no excuses. He got off of social media, and as soon as he gets back, this is what we see. Another eye surgery, claps back at Stephen A. Smith. So, DeJuan, let me ask you, what's your final thoughts, man? What do you think should happen in 2024? What fights do you want to see?
I like to see Tim Tszyu get a fight. I like to see Tim Tszyu get a fight at 154. I think him and Crawford actually be a good fight at 154. I want to go ahead and see Davis. I forget what his name is, but Tank Davis go ahead and get
Awad Muhammad.
Yeah, against Shakur and or Devin Haney. I like to see him move up to 140. I like to see 140. 140 class looks interesting. You got Teofimo Lopez up there. He keeps talking trash. We got Keyshawn Davis coming up in the fight. So it's a lot of good fights out there. I tell you, I don't want to see Deontay Wilder in another fight. I really don't. I think it's time for him to step away.
Totally agree.
You didn't ask me, man, but we really need to talk about the fact that Derek James should have stopped that fight with Errol Spence and Crawford. I think he let Errol go too far. I think Derek needs to evaluate himself on that fight.
But you got DeJuan, what I would say about that, he never been in a position to stop a fight. You know what I'm saying? I understand what you're saying, that you think he should have came up on the apron to stop that fight, which a lot of people, said the same thing. He let Errol take a punishment, but Errol has never been in a situation like that. You know what I'm saying? But before the fight started, what did me and you both say? And we looked at each other. Something don't look right about Errol. And when I told you, when Crawford knocked him down in the second round, I told you, I said, Errol's hurt. The way his leg did that dance, he never recovered from the second round, man. And that's what I said. I've never seen Crawford that strong, fighting an opponent. And I never saw him dominate someone the way he dominated Errol Spence, man.
Yeah, but Derek James let it go too far, man. It was not his night. He was not being effective. He was taking too much punishment. And that's the danger when you get a champion. You want to give a champion a chance to go out on their shield. But it's the trainer's job to protect the fighter. And I felt like he let Errol take too much punishment in that fight. Man,
I totally agree, man. Well, DeJuan, man, I appreciate your time, man. And everybody, man, I want y'all guys to post y'all's comments in the comments section, man. What do y'all think Errol Spence should do? Do y'all want to see the Rolly and Ryan fight? Make sure you share the video out. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, man. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. We're going to catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
Another one.